Hello, my dear ones. Please forgive my voice. If my voice cracks, I'll just have to push through this, because otherwise I'll be here for hours. I'm in my room. I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, so I'm making a slow beginning of the day. Well, in a manner of speaking, because I did wake up quite early this morning. I wanted to record for you the light at the sunrise. It was so beautiful. I wanted to share it with you. So I went outside and I couldn't speak because of the wind, but I still filmed a little bit. My my disciple Pipiki, our cat, was with me, and then I took a little walk so I can pray a bit, and he still followed me around. But now I'm in my room. I'm all alone, and I can talk to you. We've had this beautiful group of young people from a parish in England, from the parish in Durham. They came and helped both us here on IONA and the mothers on the Isle of Mull to do quite a lot of work, of our spring work. And of course, apart from benefiting from the physical help, they've helped me quite a lot in understanding better their worries and their lives and the reality of what they have to deal with. Their questions, their confessions, the conversations we've had benefit me probably more than they benefit them. And I'm always very grateful for such meetings. I'm always very grateful for our pilgrims, which is why I'm so looking forward to our summer pilgrimages. One of the things that came back again and again in these conversations was the lack of time, or sometimes phrased as the lack of energy to pray. So one goes about one's day, you go to school or you go to work, and then you have to deal with your co-workers, and then you have to deal with traffic and shopping and going home and spending time with your family. And by the end of the day, everybody is exhausted. Everybody is just lacking any sort of energy and time. And that's when we want to pray and we discover we can't do it anymore. And they were asking for advice concerning that. And really what surprised me was how different my perspective on all of this was from theirs. It wasn't so much that there is a solution, because I really don't think there is a solution. If you go to work and you have to deal with all the problems that come with work and co-workers, and then if you have to do all the administration that your family requires you to do, and then the actual time you spend with your friends and your family, yes, I mean, physically there are only that many hours and minutes in a day. You cannot enlarge the day to squeeze in more time for prayer. And equally, there's only that much energy one can give. If you've spent it all already, of course, at the end of the day, you'll just collapse either into sleep or some sort of modern self-numbing, making yourself immune and numb to everything, like, I don't know, spending countless hours on the internet or gaming or all sorts of things people do nowadays. But apart from, or not apart, rather than a solution to this problem, because I don't believe there is a solution, I think it's just a matter of how you approach life itself. Because in my mind, my work is never separated from my prayer. The work I do for the monastery is never not prayer. And when I interact with people, when you come here, for example, during our pilgrimages, and you spend time with us, the time I spend with you is not time away from prayer. It is not time away from God. It is us focused on God, and I am as engaged in prayer as I am at any other given time. I mean, Even this, look at the reality of my life. This is my office, where I have to go through the daily chores of paying bills and things like that, and just immediately next to it is my prayer corner. That's my cell. Whether I'm on this side working or on that side praying, whether I'm here paying the bills that the monastery needs me to be paying in order for us to keep on surviving and doing the work we do, or whether I'm sending an email to someone, or whether I'm kneeling down or prostrate in prayer, of course there is a difference in quality. But if you hold on to the awareness that what you do for God, that what you do in the presence of God, then everything you do is a form of prayer. For example, if you go to work and you remind yourself that perhaps you are the only person in your office who has received Holy Communion, you are the only person in that group of people who within yourself you carry the body and the blood of Christ. You carry God Himself in you. And of course you still have to do your work. And of course you have still to be wise as a serpent and interact the proper way with your co-workers and do the business you're supposed to be doing. But if you maintain the awareness that deeper down, your core, your essence in that moment is not that you are an accountant or a lawyer or a teacher or a cleaner or whatever you are, but that you are a chalice carrying within yourself Christ Himself, God Himself, and bringing God in the middle of your workspace so that your co-workers may interact with God's presence through you. If you don't let go of that awareness, if you bring that awareness back before the eyes of your mind again and again and again and again, if that becomes slowly the reality of how you understand yourself and your purpose in your place of work, then being in your office and interacting with your co-workers, interacting with anybody in the streets, becomes a sacrament. There's no difference between your priest taking out the chalice from the altar and inviting you to be in the presence of God and to commune with God, and you taking that communion, taking God Himself in the form of His body and His blood, and taking Him into your workspace, into the streets, into the houses of your neighbors and your friends, and silently, quietly inviting them to live and to interact with God, to be in the presence of God. And then your own families, if you lose sight of the fact that your spouse and your children are there not by accident, but because God blessed you and blessed them, that you should all be together, that you should all form this beautiful unity, this oneness of a family. If you lose sight that they are there to help you on your path to your salvation, and you are there to help them on their path to salvation, then pretty soon, sooner rather than later, the relationship will sour and it will lose its depth, and slowly it can go completely wrong. Everything in your life is prayer. If you force yourself to develop this habit of keeping your awareness, keeping your focus on the fact that you are always in the presence of God, that whatever you do it in the presence of God, and then there's no longer this a separation between the time you spend working, the time you spend interacting with friends and neighbors, the time you spend with your family, and at the very end of the day, or squeezed just before the day begins, some few minutes that you give to God. Everything belongs to God. Your entire life, your whole time will then be a prayer, a form of prayer, of different intensities, of different qualities, of course, but prayer nevertheless. I think the solution is not to look for a solution where you save some time from the time you spend working or with your family, so you can invest that extra time in your prayer. The solution really is to rediscover that any time you have in this life is a gift from God, is a gift from your Creator, and that every human being with whom you interact in any capacity is created by the same Creator, out of the same nothingness you are created, and with the same love and for the same purpose, salvation. Salvation. So that we can be all one with God in eternity. There is that parable in the Gospel that I've referenced before, when the king invites people to enter the room of the wedding, of the banquet, and they have all sorts of reasons for saying they can't make it. Oh, I'm working, or I've bought some oxen, I've bought some land, I have a wife, I am married now and I have to invest time in that, so we can't come. None of these reasons are wrong reasons. None of them are sinful reasons. None of them says, I can't come because I want to be lazy today, I want to be in my bed, or I want to go and rob someone or kill someone, or I found a prostitute and I want to spend my time with her. All of them give good, blessed reasons. Working, families, interacting with others. And yet, because they create this separation between one side of their lives and the lives they spend with God, God ends up telling all of them, none of you will enter my kingdom. We cannot add hours to our days to make them longer so we can invest more time in our relationship with God. We cannot summon more energy so that we can, at the end of an exhausting long day, have the energy to keep on praying and keep a night vigil and do everything that our souls crave to do. But what we can do is hear Christ in his teaching and hear the apostle who tells us to pray all the time. And this is the same apostle who worked for a living, the same apostle who had to travel constantly, the same apostle who had to run and escape and flee for his life, the same apostle who had to set up the first Christian communities and ordain the first bishops and priests and teach everyone in these new communities before he would move forward to form new communities, and so on and so forth. And he said, pray all the time. Where did he find the hours? Because the days were just as long back then as they are now. Where did he find the energy? Because he had the same body that we have. The solution is to stop separating between time you give to the world and time you give to God, and to end up seeing the eternal value in everything you do and in everyone with whom you interact. And once you do that, everything becomes prayer. That's it for today. I'm on my way to meet this beautiful group of young people from Durham. They are coming to Iona today. Everyone from MULL comes over here, and the group will be reunited, and God willing we'll all go to St. Columba's Bay on a small hike, so I can tell them about St. Columba and his life, and we can be rejoicing together in the beauty of this island. And all of that time, deeper down than my words, deeper down than the steps I'm going to take with them, all of that time is a time of prayer. Be blessed, my beloved ones, to the core of your being. Amen. Amen. Amen.